Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Becca, and if you are new here, make sure you go ahead and subscribe down below and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. And today's video is actually going to be the last in my little series about how you can transition to more ethical and sustainable lifestyle. So today we're just going to be talking more generally about 20 super easy and practical ways that you can live a little bit more eco-friendly every single day. And all of these practices will also definitely save you money. Like I said, these are all pretty easy. These are definitely things that I would kind of consider that I've mastered. Obviously, of course, no one is ever perfect, and I am trying to work on achieving some more like advanced kinds of changes in my life. So if you want to see more about like the things I'm currently trying to work on implementing, just like kind of more of my journey, then leave a comment down below with like some ideas as to what you'd want to see, because I would totally do that for you guys. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say, so let's get into the tips. Alright, so my first way that you guys can try to live a little bit more eco-friendly is just to stop buying stuff and to start using what you already have. And this can be for anything, whether you're looking for new clothes or furniture or makeup, or even you just saw a cute notebook at Target that you really want. Try to take some time to reevaluate like what your needs and your wants actually are, and then if you already own something that could fulfill that same purpose and that same need. This is also just really going to help to minimize your life and the amount of things you're bringing into your home, and for that same reason it can also save you a lot of money. And the second way ties in a little bit to this first one, and that is to repurpose and repair those things you already have. So if something gets a hole in it, whether it be a shirt, maybe you can learn how to sew, or you can bring it to your local tailor, or even just have a family friend do it. This can go for so many things besides clothes, but really just trying to fix things and prolong the life of the different items in your life can be more eco-friendly, so that you're not just dumping things into a landfill or even donating them where they could still end up in a landfill. And like I said, you can also just repurpose different items. So I've had a couple different things that I've really enjoyed doing. The first is you can always take old t-shirts and turn them into different rags, whether you want them to be cleaning rags or tissues. I've actually cut off the bottoms of a lot of my shirts to make them into crop tops, so I love using that extra fabric to do those different things. And then I also took an old spice shaker and I decanted some of my dry shampoo into there just to make it a little bit easier to use. I also like to use things like old candle jars. I have one that is the perfect size for my little makeup remover wipe. I also use some teeny tiny ones for storing bobby pins. They can be great for like drawer organizers and just so many different things. And those are just a few different ideas. Always look something up on the internet. It is so wonderful that we just have Google at the top tips of our fingers. Well, except when they're, like stealing our information and all of that. And of course, when you do find that you actually do need to purchase something, my third way to be more eco-friendly is to try to always shop secondhand or from a company that, although they are new, they are more sustainable and ethical. And I've talked about this so much on my channel, but if you're looking for something really specific, even just type it into the search bar on Google or on places like eBay or Facebook Marketplace or Depop, and chances are, even within just a few days of searching, you might be able to find it. And that can be just a really great way to get something that you want or that you need, but it's not using any new resources. And in particular, my fourth idea is for you to cut fast fashion. Now, the last video in this series was actually all about that, so I'll have that linked up here in a card and down below for you guys if you want to check that out. And another fashion related tip for you guys is to re-wear your clothes. Now, I have just been doing this since I was a kid. I somehow came up with this. I actually have like sections in my closet for things that I've worn once. Basically, unless it's like my dance and athletic wear that I am sweating in and it needs to be immediately washed, I'll usually wear something at least twice before I wash it. And this is great because A, it can extend the life of your clothing because you're not putting as much wear and tear into it with different washing cycles. So of course then you don't have to buy new clothing as often, and then with doing less loads of laundry, you're actually of course going to be saving lots of water and energy, as well as limiting the amount of microplastics that are shed into the water if you are washing clothes that are not made from natural materials. And for many of the same reasons, I have my sixth way, and that is just to air dry your laundry. This completely takes out the entire process of drying your clothes. So of course that's saving energy and water, like I said, and reducing the amount of microplastics that are shed. It's just super easy, and it only takes a couple more minutes to hang up your clothes. My seventh idea for you guys is to go vegan, and same as fast fashion, I have an entire video on this, so I will link it for you guys. The University of Oxford actually did a study, and they came to the conclusion that going vegan is the single best thing you can do for the environment. So there's plenty of research out there supporting this. And of course, you don't have to go totally vegan, even if you just go vegetarian or try meatless Mondays or something. Every little bit helps. My eighth idea for you guys is to transition to plastic and package-free products. So this can go for so many different areas of your life. Personally, I've had the most success with transitioning over my beauty items So every time I use up an item, instead of buying that same one that probably comes in a plastic bottle, I buy a new one that is like something like a shampoo bar that doesn't require any packaging. Some of my favorites have been shampoo bars as well as different face washes, deodorants, moisturizers. There are so many different products that are always coming out onto the market. In particular, one of my favorite ones has been to use a menstrual cup. I was a little scared of these when I first heard about them a few years ago, but for so many different reasons I am completely sold because of course things like tampons and pads use a ton of plastic packaging. If that's the only thing that's available to you, then definitely use that, of course. But if you can switch to a menstrual cup, now these do take a little bit more of an upfront investment. The one I got was about $40, but since I bought it, I have not had to buy anything else since then, so in the long term it can save you so much money because just one cup lasts up to 10 years. And for my 10th way, one of my other favorite switches has been to use a safety razor. So like a menstrual cup, these are great because they last so much longer than just disposable razors that are made out of plastic, and it's just something that might cost a little bit more upfront but will pay itself off within just a few months because all you have to buy is the razor blades, which since they're just tiny little sheets of metal, they're usually pretty inexpensive and you can buy them in huge quantities. And again, it seemed a little scary at first, but you just have to take that leap and try it out. My 11th idea for you guys is to start walking or biking or even taking the train more often. Now, I actually don't have a car at school, so I bike or walk everywhere. Not only is this a great form of exercise, but you're of course not using any of the gas or even electricity of an electric car. That is still a resource that you no longer have to waste when you are biking or walking somewhere. And then things like trains or even just carpooling in cars can be great because you have more people in one vehicle, so the amount of resources you use is being divided between more people, so it's like less resources being used per capita, if that makes sense. Since I don't have a car, I almost always take the train to go back home and stuff, and it's honestly kind of nice because even though it takes a little bit longer, you don't have to sit there and drive, so you can work on other stuff. I always am doing homework or reading a book, and it's honestly a fun experience taking the train. I would definitely try it out if you never have. And if you are going on more walks, I would definitely recommend that you pick up trash while you're on your walks. I've done this a few times at my neighborhood at home, and it is crazy eye-opening how much trash and litter there is. You can pick up like 50 pieces in like 10 minutes. That's usually still going to be trash that you have to put in the trash can, but at least then it can be properly disposed of in a landfill and not clogging up our waterways and hurting animals and ecosystems and that kind of thing. My 13th tip is a pretty big one. A lot of people talk about this, and this has definitely come to the forefront on things like social media, and that is to refuse single-use plastics. I bring my water bottle everywhere with me, and if I want to get coffee, I always plan ahead so that I can bring my coffee cup with me as well for the day. And then I actually have this really great cutlery set that comes on a little clip, so I keep that clipped on my backpack, which is great because I'm always eating lunch and stuff at work or in between classes because I'm just on the go so much as a student. Like everyone else, I like to get takeout sometimes. Even if I want to eat it at home, I'll just order it for there, and then I'll quickly scoop it into my own container so I can avoid plastic or styrofoam containers. As for K-cups, that'll be the last one I talk about. I hate K-cups so much. Like, I just feel so strongly that they're just so stupid. We do have a Keurig at my house at home, so I just use one of those little reusable ones, which works great. And then here at school, I like to use a French press, which is great because you don't have to use any kind of paper or plastic. It's just the item itself. All of these things, again, they just require a little bit more of an upfront investment, and then you have pieces that are going to last you your entire lifetime. It might not even require an upfront investment if you already own these items, or you could even try to buy a lot of these different things secondhand. And this may sound like a bunch of different things, but you can just kind of figure out which ones you're using the most often and put together a little kit to keep in your bag with you at all times. And then another thing about these reusable items is that a lot of them can actually save you money. So lots of coffee shops will do discounts if you bring in your own cup, and lots of grocery stores will also do discounts if you bring in your own bag. My 14th tip is one we probably all heard in elementary school, but again, I think these simple things are really important because every penny counts, and even if you've heard these before, it's always good to have another reminder. So my 14th tip is to turn off lights and water when you're not using them. So if you're ever leaving the room for more than like a minute long, definitely try to switch that light switch off. And things like water, don't leave it on while you're brushing your teeth. You can turn it back off and back on again. And my 15th idea is also related to water consumption, and that is to take shorter showers. Now, out of the 20 items on this list, this is probably the one I struggle with the most. So what I've been doing to help myself with this is to set timers on my phone for 15 minutes. Having that alarm go off really helps me to have a better idea of how much time I'm actually spending. And I also like to listen to music in the shower so that I can kind of tell like once a couple songs have gone by, I need to start wrapping things up. My 16th idea is to unplug electronics when you are not using them. Now, this isn't one I really do here at school because we don't have like a toaster or an electronic coffee maker or anything like that, but I do this at home. It just takes a few more seconds to unplug something and plug it back in, and this can save a lot of energy because a lot of items actually use energy if it's plugged in, even if you're not using it. So even if you just leave your phone charger plugged in throughout the day, it's still going to be using a little bit of energy even though it's not actually changing your phone. So unplug your phone chargers, unplug any of those small little appliances that you don't use frequently. I mean, like, obviously don't unplug your entire refrigerator because that would be pretty bad, but definitely with anything small it can save energy. And again, if you're paying for like your energy and electricity separately, this can help save you money during the year. And also related to saving energy and money in your home is, instead of turning up the heat, always put on layers and use blankets first. I am always walking around our apartment with my penguin slippers on, and my friends think they are the worst thing ever, but I don't care because I am such a grandma and I know that they're keeping my feet warm. You can also just do socks though if slippers are not your thing. I always am putting on like extra sweatshirts, I'm always putting blankets over my lap when I'm studying, and it's just about reprogramming your mind that when you realize you're cold, instead of immediately going to the heat, you put on a blanket or a sweatshirt instead. My 18th idea is also one that I am still working on, and that is recycling, but recycling correctly. Now, I think we've all seen those different little symbols and stuff on the bottoms of recycling, and you may have heard that a lot of areas, especially in the US, have actually stopped recycling for different reasons, and so it can be really important to know if you can recycle in your area and then what you can actually recycle in your area. So for the longest time, I actually didn't know that you can't recycle plastic bags. Just in curbside recycling, you actually have to take those to stores. So just different things like that, because with recycling, if one item in like the entire load is not recyclable, then that can actually like contaminate the entire load and none of it gets recycled. Recycling is a very flawed system, and I think it's really important that we are all doing our part to make it as strong of a system as we can. My 19th idea is to order or do everything at once. So what I mean by this is that if you're placing an order online, definitely try to order everything you need at once. So don't place like 3 different shipments over 3 different days. Do it all in one order because this can help cut down on those emissions and resources associated with shipping. And on that same note, if you can avoid it, don't do same day or priority shipping because this is just putting more trucks and things on the roads with fewer items. So it's kind of like how we talked about carpooling earlier. It's better to have those resources distributed per capita or distributed per the different items that are being shipped, so that like proportionally you're using less. And another way that I like to implement this idea is I try to run all of my errands at once. I live in a small town called Garner at home, and kind of in the surrounding area is a town called Cary, and so I go over there every now and then for different things like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and the craft store and Plato's Closet, which is my like one true love, you guys know. So I'll try to do all of those things all in one run so I'm not constantly driving over there all the time. And again, this is one of those things that is going to save you money because you're saving gas, and also going to save you time. And they say time is money, so this will save you money. And my 20th and final idea for you guys is a little bit less based on just like individual habits you can be picking up, and that is because my 20th idea for you is to vote. Now this is great because it is an individual action, but it helps you to be able to enact change at a higher level. Our current administration loves to overturn environmental regulations, so definitely please show up at the presidential elections this year. Make sure you look into their green environmental policies as well, because I think those are super important and should definitely be a priority right now. Alright, so that's going to be all for my 20 ways that you guys can try to live a little more eco-friendly. Like I said, I try to keep these as simple and as practical as possible, so if you have any other easy ideas, definitely leave them down in the comments below so that we can all just kind of get some inspiration and ideas from each other. I'll also link in the description box an article that my sister sent me with 100, I think, ways to be more eco-friendly. Alright, so that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. It helps to support my channel so much. You can also go follow me over on Instagram. It's just at becca.gargiulo, and I'm always sharing tons of different ways that I'm trying to be more eco-friendly over on that platform. And up on the screen here in a few seconds, you will see 2 videos that I think you guys would enjoy watching, so please feel free to check those out. And with all of that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!